Hello, my name is Michaela Montgomery, and today's presentation is about L'Oreal's international marketing strategy and environment. We will look at how the world's largest cosmetic company, L'Oreal, completely re engineered its international marketing strategy to survive this new regulatory environment. As a premier global cosmetic brand, L'Oreal relies on heavy consumer profile data to run highly customized digital ad campaigns across more than 150 countries. In our introduction, we will go over internet borders, the relationships between global marketing and national sovereignty, and centralized customer data. In the past, companies were able to bring all their customer data into one centralized spot as a way to track customer behavior. This also can help the companies plan out ad campaigns as well. Now, this process of gathering all customer data is a legal issue. In order for these companies to use data, they have to follow strict privacy laws to avoid massive fines. They also have to choose between running a large global campaign or to comply with the fragmented local laws. Geospatial splinternet laws. What is geospatial splinternet laws? Basically, networks are separate in different countries and regions. Think of this as the internet as a different territory or patches when there are different countries. Russia, Chinese, and EU all have different internets when compared to the rest of the world. Data localization laws, or laws requiring that data generated by citizens, like social media posts, health records, or bank details, these must be stored on servers physically located inside that country. Content filtering and censorship laws. These are laws that force internet service providers to block foreign websites, news platforms, or social media networks. Sovereign internet laws are laws that allow the government to technically detach its national network from the global internet and run it privately during an emergency. Understanding the Spencer laws. So basically, this is not a one size fits all. To understand this international environment, we must analyze two most powerful digital regulatory blocks. First, the European Union's General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR. The GDPR focuses heavily on consumer consent and the right to be forgotten. Second, China's Personal Information Protection Law, or PIPL. The PIPL takes regulation a step further by enforcing strict data localization. This means any personal data collected from Chinese citizens must be must physically reside on servers located in the mainland in China. It cannot leave the country without explicit government security clearance. These are not minor compliance checkboxes. They fundamentally dictate how a brand can communicate with its audience. China um, is the Great Firewall. So basically, China is the most extreme example. China's laws block popular Western platforms, like I mentioned before, like Google, Facebook, and Twitter, and Wikipedia, requiring their citizens to use local alternatives like WeChat or Baidu. Russia is more of a sovereign internet law, where Russia has passed laws aimed at creating a RunNet, Russia Internet, that can operate independently of the global internet, allowing for strict censorship and control over domestic information. In the EU, GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation, creates strict data privacy rules that differ from the US, leading to some US websites being inaccessible in Europe to avoid compliance penalties. Governments will do this for national security, political control, cultural preservation, and economic protection. So, if you look at the picture identity, behavior, and purchase history, identity is we basically have a cross border data interruption or blocked biometric and behavior analysis and loss of unified global and consumer rights. So, this matters to an international marketer because modern marketing rules on data driven personalization. If you launch an AI driven skincare app, you need to track the user's face scans, skin types, and purchase history. In a borderless web, you feed all this data into one central algorithm to protect your product's recommendations worldwide. In a splinter net world, you cannot mix the data. You cannot use data gathered in Paris to optimize it in a campaign running in Senegal. This structurally silo makes it impossible to build a single unified view of your global customer. L'Oreal's data challenges. L'Oreal is in over 150 markets with millions of data touch points. You caught it? The rise of beauty in tech with virtual try-ons, massive collection of biometric and personal data. These were those one, two, three slides um, images are about. L'Oreal operates in over 150 countries and have transitioned from a traditional consumer good company into a beauty tech powerhouse. They deploy advanced AI tools like ModeFace, which allows users to scan their face via smartphone to get customized skin diagnosis and makeup recommendations. Think about all the data that is collected here: biometric facial geometry, skin health vulnerabilities, ages, names, and geolocations. As GDPR and PIPL took effect, L'Oreal found itself sitting on an incredible vulnerable mountain of cross border data that could no longer legally exist on a single global cloud. Decentralized infrastructure, completely segregated regional clouds. In a Western ecosystem, unified via Salesforce and Google Analytics. In a Chinese ecosystem, ecosystems are integrated with WeChat and Alibaba tools. How did L'Oreal adapt? They abandoned the traditional dream of single global tech architecture. Instead, they strategically fractured their own technology stack. In the West, they anchored their marketing stack on tools like Salesforce, Google Analytics, and Amazon Web Services, hosting data in the cloud regions. But for Chinese markets, they built a completely separate digital ecosystem. L'Oreal migrated its Chinese consumers' data entirely to a local infrastructure using local players like Alibaba Cloud. Instead of directing Chinese consumers to global.com website, they built hyper-localized mini program housed completely with WeChat. The data never leaves Chinese border, ensuring absolutely compliance with the PIPL. Cost of strategic localization. L'Oreal is spending massive amount of money to restructure how they operate, moving away from one global system to separate, localized systems for different regions. While this is very expensive and kind of wasteful in the short term, it makes the company incredible, safe, and stable in the long run. This setup keeps them from safe, massive regulatory fines and sudden geopolitical events that can ruin a competitor who only relies on one global system. L'Oreal's international marketing strategy involves a three-step framework: auditing data to understand consumer information like travel, shifting from global infrastructure to localized edge cloud hosting, and empowering local teams to manage regional platforms. This approach allows this approach allows brands to maintain global consistency while adapting to local tech ecosystems like legal compliance. Step 1 is to know where your data is. Step 2 is to store it locally, not globally. And 3, hire local experts to manage it. This is how the framework is used for L'Oreal. That's what they did to um, relaunch themselves into the market. Conclusion: marketing globally is no longer about using the exact same ads everywhere. Success now requires blending a constant brand image with highly customized local content, following strict regional data laws, and acting fast to adapt to technical and legal changes in each market. The way we sell things globally has fundamentally changed and isn't going back to the old way. To succeed worldwide, companies can't just have one plan. They have to customize their technology to fit the specific rules and culture of every single country. To succeed globally today, leaders must stop trying to make every country's website look identical. Instead, keep the brands look and feel consistent, but let local teams run their own customized websites that fit local rules and cultures. So I just said it. Thank you.